to come this afternoon in South Florida, a full 12-race program. So that was the first leg of the late pick 4. Let's return to Todd and Simon for more coverage from Belmont Park.
Thank you, Christina. And waiting for the field to move into the starting gate here for the Belmont Sprint Championship, part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series. And here, Mind Your Biscuits, even money. We talk so much about horses coming back from Dubai and how that first start can be a little bit dicey. Do you think now that we've had that event established for a while?
It's not a problem.
Yeah, trainers seem to have it figured out.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Cigar overcame it way back in the inaugural running. He came back and won his next start at Massachusetts in July. No, and we've seen too many horses. I mean, even if they don't win, they come back and run well. It's not like, you know, they need, no, sorry. I don't put any credence to it.
The late pick 4 beginning here at Belmont Park with a pool that is easily going to get to $1 million in all graded stakes races everywhere you look in this sequence. There are a couple of tickets available for you at tvg.com. You can send in as is. One from Simon Bray, one from Christina Blacker, or you can take some of your own opinion, mix it in, but a very nice pick 4 coming up here in race number 7 at Belmont Park. The field is about to move forward and into line. All right, just this race straight up, the speed of Unified versus the closing ability of Mind Your Biscuits. What wins out?
I think Mind Your Biscuits when it's all said, because Green Grotto is going to be quick. Green Grotto, excuse me. So there's a potential where the 6 and the 7 could hook up. And then Mind Your Biscuits, I think if that scenario happens, gets the perfect trip. And he's always going to be about 3 to 4 lengths, maybe more, in front of Awesome Slew, who will come running late. So I could see it finishing here 2, 5, 7.
As the field moves into line, it is the 2 Mind Your Biscuits, your 6 to 5 favorite. Second choice is the 7 Unified at 2 to 1. And as this is part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series here on TVG, brought to you by Spendthrift Farm, this race could go a long way in asserting someone at the top of the sprint division. Mind Your Biscuits could be the best sprinter in America, but he could back it up with a return from Dubai and beating this field at Belmont Park. Mind Your Biscuits breaking from post position number 2 as the 6 to 5 favorite. And on the outside in this field of 7, your second choice at 2 to 1, it is the 7 Unified. With 2 more to load, let's go up to track announcer Larry Colmus. It is the Belmont Sprint Championship, part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series, brought to you by Spendthrift Farm here on TVG.
One steps up. They're all in line and ready for the start. They're off in the Belmont Sprint Championship, and Green Grotto flies out of the gate, takes the lead right away. On the far outside, Unified, Stall Walking Dude, and Mind Your Biscuits is right up there too, just 3/4 of a length off of Unified. It's 2.5 to Tommy Macho, Awesome Slew, and Fellowship on the inside. Green Grotto setting the pace here, and he's out there on a 3-length early lead, running the first quarter in 22.67 seconds. And then it's Stall Walking Dude and Unified, and now Mind Your Biscuits is backed off of them. 6 lengths behind as they race for the far turn with a half-mile to go. Then Awesome Slew, Fellowship, and Tommy Macho is last. Green Grotto by 2.5 lengths on the far turn. Unified now ridden along to keep up in second. Mind Your Biscuits is just to the outside. Stall Walking Dude's going to cut the corner. Awesome Slew is next. 45.64 for a half-mile, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. And here comes Mind Your Biscuits right now. Mind Your Biscuits takes the lead at the top of the stretch. He has gone by to a 1.5 length lead. Here's Awesome Slew trying to make a race of it on the outside. And then comes Tommy Macho. Stall Walking Dude, Unified has dropped back. It is Mind Your Biscuits, and he's pouring it on late. Mind Your Biscuits rolls to victory by 4 lengths over Awesome Slew and Tommy Macho. Stall Walking Dude ends up 4th in 1 minute, 21.84 seconds.
There is little doubt that is the best sprinter in America, and if you add to that his win in the Dubai Golden Shaheen, Mind Your Biscuits is just the best sprinter on dirt maybe in the world. That was so easy. This Keeneland graduate purchased at the Keeneland January sale in 2014 for just $47,000, is more than a bargain. He's a champion.
He certainly is. I mean, he clearly is at the top of the division right now. Drifong out here on the West Coast is just coming back into action, but nobody can touch Biscuits right now. A great run from Awesome Slew. He's no...
Well, everyone's still talking about Mind Your Biscuits and what took place in the Belmont Sprint Championship. It is a fantastic festival of racing, and Mind Your Biscuits has already had the signature performance. The camera winding its way through the paddock, running into people. Does anyone actually just kind of set the phone down and look at what's happening? Did you notice literally everybody right there had their cameras up on their phones and watching the field as they leave the paddock area here? There's something to be said for setting, whether it's a phone or a traditional camera, aside and just letting the camera in your mind take the moment in and remember it, but nobody does that anymore. And in here, the Belmont Oaks Invitational, there'll be a lot of horses to take a picture of. We have just one scratch in this field. That is the 1055, who actually was kind of a interesting price horse in this race. The favorite is Sister Charlie at 9-5. She was second in the French Oaks last time out at Chantilly. While she was a bit of a price in there, maybe more than a bit of a price, she did not have the best of trips. She was covered up for a long time. I know maybe that doesn't seem a lot when it comes to European racing, but when she got out, it was a tremendous burst. Now the question is, can she duplicate something like that, having raced just about 3 weeks ago? It's going to be up to John Velasquez to pull that off. That's a look at him aboard Sister Charlie, your current 9-5 favorite for the Belmont Oaks Invitational. They're going to merge through the tunnel and come out for a post-parade. Going to bring Simon Bray into the conversation. After all, Simon is the Lord of the Lawn, his specialty turf racing, and Simon assessing these horses overseas and their form is really a task that's sometimes kind of difficult, but standing out here, Sister Charlie, anyone can look down and see second in the French Oaks. That translates to a win in most Group 1 races here in America.
Yeah, no question. And she's got a good resume besides that. She had won 3 other races from her 5 starts. The filly that beat it in the Prix de Diane is owned by Nyaka's family, Flaxman's Holdings, and has won 3 out of 7 starts for Pascal Berry. A very good filly in her own right. So, yeah, she clearly comes out of the best European races. She's shipping in on top of the race, whereas Uni, the other Chap-Brown runner, has been here. She last raced on the 11th of May. I give a little edge to her. Look, her form is nowhere near as strong as Sister Charlie, but maybe having been here a couple of months, she might get the edge. But some of these horses run huge off the plane, as we've seen many times.
Okay, so to accommodate other networks covering the racing at Belmont Park, your post-parade is going to be jacked up here. You're basically getting a better look at the pony horse than you are the actual horse that we're looking at. But again, that's something beyond our control. Beau Recall, 7-1. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, Simon Callahan said, look, he wanted to get away from Surcat Sally on the West Coast.
Okay, but Surcat Sally, you can maybe make a case 7-1 in here, but Beau Recall should be every bit of that 15-1 in the morning line.
Yeah, they think the 1.25 miles is going to be to her liking, so I agree with you. It's a bit of an underlay. The 4 Grizzle for trainer Mike Doyle's coming off from 2 wins, including the Celine Stakes. Both those were on the synthetic surface, though.
Key to My Heart is whom we're taking a look at here for trainer Aidan O'Brien. Came over on the pallet along with some of her stablemates. Will be later on today. And the Belmont Derby. The 6 Journey Home. Yeah, that win at Delaware in a listed stake doesn't really translate to this Group 1 level. The 7 Uni. Now, here's a horse that I think someone could get behind at a price.
I think so. Look, she doesn't have the form, as I said, as Sister Charlie, but she ran against Gold Luck, who's a half to Golden Cova. She came back and was second in the Group 3. Her form is good.
New Money Honey, also for the Chad Brown barn. Chad Brown has the 7 Uni making her U.S. debut. New Money Honey kind of got back on track after a disappointing effort in the Appalachian to start her year.
Yeah, he attributed that to the ground that day, but it might have just been the first start of the year, and she ran into a couple of good runners that day. Dinah Tail going through. Daddy's Little Darling, how is she going to behave? She's got a pony today. Remember, she was the filly that McPeak took to the Epsom Oaks, went down to the start without the pony, and pretty much Olivier Pellier had to bail out. He had to jump off because she was heading 90 miles an hour towards the starting gate. Thankfully, she's fine. She gets on a plane, lands here in New York, and Sister Charlie completed the lineup there.
That is your live post parade for the Belmont Oaks Invitational, race number 8 at Belmont Park as they go out to warm up. Let's get back to some more live racing action. Christina with some thoughts on the 10th at Gulfstream Park.
Todd, we'll get right back to you guys in New York. 10,000.
Be curious to see what type of pace he establishes here. The thing is, if you get a clear lead in a race like this, it's not so much about slowing it down to a half mile and 50, because then you turn it into a European-style race, and it works against you.
You let half the field into the race. Like Key to My Heart, all the European runners know.
And with the scratch of the 10.55 for Chad Brown, is this the old racetrack axiom, why run 4 when 3 will do?
Yeah. I don't need to hit the superfecta, fill out the superfecta, just to try.
He scratches 1 and still has 3 left, and they're all contenders. And the thing is, had 55 gone, that'd be a horse you'd be talking about as an upset possibility.
He probably thought she was going to finish 5th.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Keep her in the barn. We'll go win a grade 3 somewhere. Field about to move into line here for the Belmont Oaks Invitational. Just a fantastic racing festival that the New York Racing Association has put on here today.
They paid out an 8th in this race, by the way. $20,000 for finishing 8th.
And then I wonder, just behind the scenes, what's taken care of for those horses coming in from overseas.
Yeah, for sure.
And on a global scale, what is kind of the protocol for that? If you're shipping, because we hear that all the time, there are certain racing jurisdictions, if they want you there and they invite you, they pick up everything. Is that standard protocol?
I wouldn't say it's standard for every race, but a lot of the big races, I mean, the Dubai World Cup stuff is covered. Now, of course, the Breeders' Cup, you know, you have to win those races, you get it covered, but sometimes people can make demands if they've got a really good horse behind the scenes, you know? It's those backdoor talks, Todd.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like you go to the embassy and just take care of it.
The Belmont Oaks Invitational, the field moving into line. And she's got all the class based on her most recent start. Can she deliver 3 weeks after finishing second in the French Oaks? Talking about the 12. Sister Charlie, our favorite in here. For the rest of the load and then the call, let's go up to track announcer Larry Colmus. It's the Belmont Oaks Invitational live on TVG.
Who is coming up to stall number 5. Dinah Tail a bit reluctant. Dinah Tail's gone in there now. Key to My Heart coming up to the starting gate, along with Daddy's Little Darling. And the 9-5 favorite will be the last to load here. Sister Charlie and John Velasquez about to take their spot in the far outside stall. Goes in. They are all in line. They're off in the Belmont Oaks Invitational. And it's Dinah Tail who comes out running. New Money Honey is away in second position. Then Grizzle and splitting horses. Here is Key to My Heart to be a part of the early picture too. And now moving up just to the outside of Dinah Tail, who will lead the way into that turn. Then coasted inside of Beau Recall, who's running in between horses. On the far outside, Daddy's Little Darling is next. And then comes Violet Blue. They're being followed by Journey Home, Uni to the inside, and the favorite Sister Charlie is held up by John Velasquez to trail early through a 23.5 opening quarter mile. So it's a solid pace for the distance set by Dinah Tail and prompted by Key to My Heart. And the two of them move on to the backstretch together with Grizzle a length and a half behind them. New Money Honey tracks them in fourth and coasted, racing on the inside of Daddy's Little Darling. Beau Recall is behind that pair, 6 lengths off the lead through a 47.54 half mile. After that comes Violet Blue, Journey Home moving on the outside, and then came Uni and Sister Charlie still last, and 11 lengths behind as they continue their run up the backstretch and move for the far turn. So Dinah Tail continues to be pushed along by Key to My Heart, and now Grizzle is taken to the outside of them to be a part of the picture too. 3/4 in 111.38 seconds. Then coasted, progressing with an opening on the inside. New Money Honey's going to come 4 wide on the far turn. In behind them is Daddy's Little Darling. Sister Charlie is 5 lengths behind, still mid-pack and outside of Violet Blue as they make their way toward the top of the stretch, and then Uni, who's cutting the corner. Turning for home, and Grizzle has taken the lead here. It is now Grizzle in front. No Money Honey runs at her on the outside. Sister Charlie is in the center of the course. Still work to do for her. She's 3 lengths behind. Then Uni dashing through on the inside, and Daddy's Little Darling. New Money Honey has taken the lead here. Sister Charlie is second on the outside as they come down to the wire. The two of them will decide it, and it is going to be New Money Honey who has defeated Sister Charlie. Uni was third. Chad Brown runs 1, 2, 3. Daddy's Little Darling was fourth in a final time of 1 minute 59.89 seconds in the Belmont Oaks.
It is the new mantra when it comes to the Chad Brown barn. Repeat after me. Why run 4 when 3 of them will do? He's first, second, and third.
He is, and not with the Europeans winning the race. He gets New Money Honey, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf Champion. Her only kind of glitch on her resume was in the Appalachian when he said the ground didn't suit her, and she holds off Sister Charlie, who was dead last early and made up a nice move. Uni, no excuses, always traveling comfortably, just third best today, but unbelievable. 1, 2, 3. And this is a race he's owned in its short lifetime here. Chad Brown winning another edition of the Belmont Oaks. $1 million purse on hand today.
8, 12, 7, 11. Monmouth back here at Los Alamitos. We look to Belmont with New Money Honey leading the way for Chad Brown.
Yeah, let's get through the particulars here real quick as Chad Brown runs 1, 2, 3. It's the domestic horse that gets the job done. New Money Honey justifying that victory of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, made her the champion 2-year-old on the grass last year, 2-year-old filly. She wins the biggest race of the year for 3-year-old fillies on the grass over Sister Charlie. Uni came in third at 7-1. The Chad Try, 25-62.
How about the dominance you talked about in the short history of this race for Chad Brown? 4 rivals to take on Shaman Ghost in the Suburban. That'll be part of our coverage when we return after this.
TV. If it weren't for Arrowgate, Shaman Ghost would probably be considered the best older male in the country.
Shaman Ghost and Dolphus. Dolphus fighting on Shaman Ghost in the Pimlico Special.
It's Shaman Ghost, an overwhelming force in the last 16th of a mile. Shaman Ghost has beaten Midnight Storm.
Shaman Ghost will look to win his 3rd straight race and keep the momentum going in his solid 5-year-old campaign in the Grade 2 Suburban Handicap. Next from Belmont Park.
Yeah, you look over the course of history, Simon. There's always that one horse that could have been a Triple Crown winner for another horse. You take a look at some of the years, Affirmed and Alidar. If not for Affirmed, Alidar could have been the Triple Crown winner.
You can't look at life like that.
You can't. You got to look at what you have now. What Shaman Ghost has is a pretty good thing going because Arrowgate can't be everywhere.
Right, exactly. Gunrunner just won the Foster.
Yep.
He's probably the second best older horse in the country right now, right?
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
He's out of the equation because he just ran. So Shaman Ghost has been, picking up some spots here. The Santa Anita Handicap, he beat Follow Me Krev. Follow Me Krev has followed him back to the East Coast for trainer Vladimir Serin. And I get that. I understand that move coming out here.
But I have a long-time handicapping theory that I am going to use to great effect in this race. Okay?
Is this your theory?
This is my theory. I've seen it over the years. The 1.25-mile races at Belmont Park, because of where they start, it's like a turn and a half. The inside post position has a huge advantage, or anyone with speed drawn to the inside. That is a very obvious play here in the 2 Matt King Cole. I think Matt King Cole pulls off the minor upset over
than we have seen from him in the past. 5-8 on the exacta. Price is coming up. It's post-parade time for the Suburban. Let's get back to Todd and Simon.
Okay, Simon, you know how sometimes things come out differently than what we said on the show. So you just heard my theory about the inside of the 1.25 mile at Belmont.
Right.
Okay, this is one of my followers. I love him. He has a good radio show, Ron Flatter. But he put it this way. He goes, the @Todd TVG theory about outside draw having it bad and 10 furlongs at Belmont is mitigated when only 5 start in the race. Did I say anything about the outside having it bad?
No.
No.
You said if there's no speed in the race, that the inside, if they have speed, has a huge advantage.
Exactly. So
that's
look,
the way I read it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad to be on the outside. I'm saying it's an advantage to be on the inside with speed. Advantage to be and speed in general, no matter where it's drawn at 1.25 miles at Belmont Park, is an advantage. I can go through history and show you horses that have overperformed from their post positions are because they had speed at 1.25 miles at Belmont Park in big races. When Tisnow ended up winning the Breeders' Cup Classic, it was Albert the Great who hung on for second because he had speed and was able to hold on in there. I think, I know Le Carrier was more of maybe a mud play, but he had some speed against your big horse, Cigar, and hung around for second about 49-1. The theory is this. It's not outside disadvantage the rest of it. For Ron Flatter and everyone else out there, speed at 1.25 miles at Belmont Park hangs around longer than you think. And on top of that, the horse that we're talking about, Matt King Cole, is in great form, and Linda Rice is having a phenomenal spring meeting at Belmont Park. What could mitigate everything is the fact that Shaman Ghost won the Brooklyn last year in a stalking trip with kind of a dawdling pace. But I do believe Matt King Cole is going to test this horse quite a bit today.
All right, no question. That's who Shaman Ghost has got to run down. There's nobody else going to be on the lead. Well, it's obvious.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, the other options in here, Keen Ice. I mean,
his best days might be behind.
Yeah, that's a great pick in 2015.
Right.
Watershed. I mean, his Ben Ally. I mean,
he was 10 behind Shaman Ghost last time out.
Yeah, and Eagle and Birdsong. Follow Me Krev. We know what Follow Me Krev is. He's getting away from Bob Baffert, but he's already faced Shaman Ghost in his backyard, and he was third to him. I mean, you could almost cold deck the try here. If you don't believe me that Shaman Ghost can get beat by Matt King Cole, then they could run around there as if it were a merry-go-round race, 6-2-5, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Follow Me Krev's going to get a piece of it, 100%.
Yeah, he's 11-1.
Right, he's going to get a piece of it.
But my stand is going to be with the two, Matt King Cole getting the lead. And I really hope that Irad Ortiz Jr. just flat out sends. And I'm not talking about send for the quarter mile, take a hold, water ski, have it be from first to last about 4 lengths. I'm talking, just go for it. Absolutely go for it and make this a guessing game for Javier Castellano and Shaman Ghost.
Just let it increase every 1/8 of a mile.
Yep. There is Shaman Ghost. And look, he doesn't win his races by big margins. Look at his last 3 wins. Ahead in the Woodward, 3/4 of a length in the Big Cap at Santa Anita, and then a neck last time out. He was a heavy favorite there. Dolphus gave him all he could handle.
Yeah, he certainly did. No, I'm with you there. And that's why I think Follow Me Krev will improve a little. I think Follow Me Krev will appreciate the layout here at Bell. He's a big, long, galloping, kind of one-pace type of horse. He'll appreciate this setup here at Belmont.
So Shaman Ghost, I should mention, I did want to correct this. He won the Brooklyn last year before running into Suburban and tanking. But let's see how my theory plays out. Speed at 1.25 miles. It belongs to Matt King Cole. Will it allow him to pull off the upset over Shaman Ghost? Post time for the Suburban live on TVG.
They're off in the Suburban. Matt King Cole comes out running on the lead, and Shaman Ghost is there too. He's right up close to the pace. And in behind them is Watershed, who will sit third early. Follow Me Krev and Keen Ice guided to the back of the pack. So no surprises here up front. It is Matt King Cole and Irad Ortiz Jr. leading the way. But Javier Castellano is keeping Shaman Ghost pretty close. They're only a length behind as they hook up with the backstretch. And the opening quarter mile was a very tepid one, 25.28 seconds. Not much pace on it all here. Watershed is running in third, 3.5 lengths off the lead. Keen Ice and Follow Me Krev last, 6 lengths from front running Matt King Cole. Irad Ortiz Jr. and Matt King Cole heading up the backstretch in front here, comfortably in front by 2. Shaman Ghost is second, Watershed is third, Keen Ice is fourth through a 50.01 half mile. Follow Me Krev, last of the field, and still 5.5 lengths off of Matt King Cole, who's just been walking up front so far. A paceless race here in the Suburban as they move for the far turn. Matt King Cole in front by 2.5 to the heavy favorite Shaman Ghost. Watershed is third on the outside of Keen Ice, who's riding the rail, and Follow Me Krev last with a half mile to go. 3/4 in 1:13.81. It picks up a bit around the far turn. Irad Ortiz Jr. and Matt King Cole still in charge here. And now Javier Castellano is pumping on Shaman Ghost. Shaman Ghost is 2 lengths behind, and he is under a drive. Watershed is next. And then comes Keen Ice, who's guided to the outside. Follow Me Krev is last, and they're into the stretch. Matt King Cole taken on by Shaman Ghost. And Shaman Ghost has gone on by Keen Ice. Has made a huge run on the outside. And he's right up alongside of Shaman Ghost, and now Keen Ice is in front. Keen Ice by the 16th pole clear. Shaman Ghost left behind, and look at him run away. Keen Ice wins the Suburban by 4. He beat Shaman Ghost, Follow Me Krev, and Watershed in a final time of 2:02.02 seconds.
Yeah, I think it was.
It is a long time between wins, but I'm going to hear it from Jerry Crawford next time I see him from Donegal Racing. We both dismissed Keen Ice.
Yep.
I'm going to have to go back far enough, but I think his last win was the Travers over American Pharoah. And now here he is at the age of 5, pulling off the Suburban after going winless last year, 0 for 6. And what a bizarre race. I mean, coming out of the turn, I thought Matt Cole was going to draw off from this field. And instead, he's going to fade and be a non-factor here badly. Shaman Ghost was under a drive, but it is Keeneland graduate Keen Ice going on to the win at 5-1.
First win since being transferred to Todd Pletcher after the Dubai World Cup last year. And you talk about enhance the credentials of Arrogate. Both the...
Here's a look at Keen Ice moving into the winner's circle after his upset score in the Grade 2 Suburban today at Belmont Park. That was race number 9. His sire, Curlin, stands at Hillendale. Keen Ice, best known previous to this for his upset victory over American Pharoah in the Travers in 2015. But here's a nice notch in his belt as he takes down the Grade 2 Suburban.
In the Pennine Ridge, we found out what happens when the competition lets Oscar Performance get out to a comfortable lead.
Oscar Performance is back, wiring the field in the Pennine Ridge.
But in the Belmont Derby Invitational, it won't be so easy. Oscar Performance will have to hold off an ultra-impressive Japanese-bred runner.
Yoshida and Joel Rosario wrapped up the score in the Murphy.
A proven competitor on the grass.
Ticonderoga is he's up to challenge and power pass. Ticonderoga going away.
And Senior Investment, a colt who turned a few heads during his Triple Crown campaign. The Grade 1 Belmont Derby Invitational. Next from Belmont Park.
We saw the fillies have their chance in race number 8, the Belmont Oaks Invitational. The Belmont Derby, the boys get their chance at the 1.25 mile distance on the turf course. Purse, $1.2 million. And we're going to start the post parade off with Good Samaritan, owned in part by Windstar Farm, Head of Plains, and China Horse Club. Interesting here, Belmont's got the good runner in Yoshida and Good Samaritan. He elected to keep Joe Rosario and Good Samaritan. That was Belmont's choice. And I think that horse is going to outrun his odds here today. The 2 Ticonderoga going through, the 3 Homesman. Irad Ortiz, the replacement rider. Colm O'Donoghue didn't make the trip over for Aidan O'Brien. Oscar Performance will try to lead him as far as he can. I'm not sure he wants to go this distance, and I think is vulnerable on the lead. And will be the target for many in here, including the European shipper Called to the Bar, who's up next. Pierre Brandt, Maxime Guillon, very well-respected French jockey. And I think Called to the Bar has faced some decent runners called Ice Breeze. Ice Breeze, of course, came back and won a Grade 2, or ran well in the Grade 2 on June 18th. Arklow is the 6th. Mike Smith, 2 stakes wins last night as we welcome Todd Schrupp back into the mix at Iowa. Can he get another one here in the Belmont Derby?
By the way, did you watch those 2 wins in Iowa last night?
Yeah, I was watching.
It was remarkable.
Was unreal.
That was insane.
Both of them from dead left.
And here's the thing, for all the talk about, oh, his left whip and he can really get into a horse, go back and look at how many times he whipped Hens. Did he?
Never.
I don't even know.
No, get down late.
Macarios goes through now, and in the Pennine Ridge was a non-factor at a big price. Big score. Been traveling from his home base of California all year.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
So they might catch up to you at some point, but he certainly put up some good performances.
Ooh, White Cliffs of Dover looks great out on the racetrack.
Yep.
Coming in for Aidan O'Brien. Lasix for the first time. How far can this horse go is the question. He's by Warfront. He's a Claiborne product where the 100-year tradition continues by Warfront out of the AP Indy mare Orate.
Yeah, cost $1.1 million. Senior Investment ran in the Belmont as an 8-1 shot and finished 5th, beaten 20 lengths. He wants to go long, and he is trying the grass for just the 2nd time in his career. It was 4th in his debut over at Ellis Park.
Well, if there is an international contender, we have the advantage. Candace Hare to help us out.
Thanks, Todd. We do have 3 runners in here, and all of them are interesting for different reasons. Of course, Aidan O'Brien brings 2 of them in here. One of those is going to be Homesman. The more fancied of the 2, I would say, is a half-sibling to U.S. Ranger. Of course, ran well here in America. He has a short but very, very sharp turn of foot, so he's best either when he's leading or produced very late in the running. I expect him to be pulled back with a likely rabbit in the field for him, his stablemate. But my worry about him is that he has a really bad tendency to hang.
I disagree with her on her thermostat. predictions.
I disagree with a lot of people at TVG with the thermostat.
It's crazy how
It's
warm
insane.
they make it there. To me, it's not cold enough.
No,
I'm a polar bear. But Candace giving us great insight on who she likes best here. Coming to the United States for the first time. Remember, with Homesman, you're getting Irad Ortiz Jr. That is a rider change. Homesman with Irad Ortiz Jr. I'm shocked that we're getting 14-1 for a horse that was 4-1 in the morning line.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but I'm with Candace. Called to the bar. I like that horse before we saw that segment there. She makes a good point about geldings. We mentioned it before. They can't run in the French Classics. And I mentioned Ice Breeze, who's a very good runner. So called to the bar. Beat that horse last time out. Has 2 wins, 2 second-place finishes in 2 starts. And I think he's on the upswing here. And you mentioned Pierre Brent. You know, and this horse will probably stay here in the States after this race.
Candace and Simon agree on the 5 called to the bar. For all intents and purposes, Yoshida is a foreign horse. Japanese bred and Japanese champions up and down the pedigree there. The longer they go, the better this horse
You were there
is
for that
supposed to
race.
be. It was awesome.
Probably visually the
Awesome.
most impressive win of the whole Preakness weekend.
Going away. I mean, just essentially walked out at the start, had trouble, obviously, that led to that. But spotting the field that much, especially after going gate to wire at Keeneland.
That's what Mott said this week. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That, you know, he didn't expect to be on the lead at Keeneland, and then he didn't expect to be off the pace that far in that off that Keeneland effort.
Yeah, Yoshida is a deserved favorite here at 5-2. It's post time for the Belmont Derby live on TVG. Here's Larry Colmus with the call.
Senior Investment will be the last one to go into the starting gate here to complete this field. He's balked just a little bit behind the starting gate, but now they've got him to come forward, and he's backed out once again. 5-2 right now on Yoshida, who continues to be the favorite in the betting here as Senior Investment comes up to the gate, and let's see if they can get him in there this time. Senior Investment appears in. They're all in line. We're ready for the start. They're off in the Belmont Derby Invitational, and off to a beautiful beginning here. Yoshida comes out running with Big Score, and rushing through on the inside to grab the early lead will be Oscar Performance as they make their way for that turn. So it's Oscar Performance, the leader. On the far outside, caught wide there is Big Score running in second. Yoshida's third, boxed about in fourth position early on, is called to the bar, who had just a bit of early traffic trouble there. And then at the White Cliffs of Dover on the outside, followed by Homesman, who's down toward the hedge. Macarios is next. Arklow is alongside, and Good Samaritan is down toward the inside. 8 lengths off the lead early on. Then Senior Investment in Ticonderoga. The first quarter was 23.96 seconds, and they're on to the backstretch, where Oscar Performance leads the way a half a length over Big Score. Called to the bar will be covered up third on the inside, and then it's Yoshida following in fourth. Arklow goes up outside of them fifth. After that comes White Cliffs of Dover outside of Homesman, who's at the hedge and 5 lengths off the lead and unhurried. After that, Senior Investment outside of Macarios, and then Ticonderoga and Good Samaritan. 49.48 was the half mile. They race for the far turn, and Oscar Performance and Jose Ortiz lead the way over Big Score by 3/4 of a length. Yoshida is third and just outside the top 2. Called to the bar, fourth on the inside, saving all the ground and right behind the leaders. Then Arklow racing outside of White Cliffs of Dover, and Homesman, who's beginning to pick up stride now with 4 lengths to make up on the far turn. Oscar Performance on top, 3/4 in 1:14.37. He's been there all the way, and they're into the stretch. Oscar Performance set down with a 2.5 length lead, called to the bar, and Yoshida trying to chase him home, but Oscar Performance has opened up 3. Called to the bar is second, and then comes Yoshida to the outside, and Homesman down the center of the course, followed by Good Samaritan. Oscar Performance goes all the way in the Belmont Derby Invitational. He is defeated, called to the bar. Then it was Homesman and Good Samaritan in a photo. The final time, 2 minutes, 0.25 seconds.
After his 2-year-old season, this was supposed to be the leader of the 3-year-olds on the turf in the United States, and then Oscar Performance tanked in the Transylvania, tanked in the American turf, but now look at these back-to-back wins at Belmont Park, the Pennine Ridge, and then the big prize, the Belmont Derby. He's now perfect over this turf course.
He is, and I dismissed him. I just thought he might be a little vulnerable on the front end. I didn't know whether he wanted to go that far. He's by Kitten's Joy out of a theatrical mare, so the pedigree said it shouldn't be a problem. And we've seen 2 Breeders' Cup juvenile champs on the turf, in the case of New Money Honey and Oscar Performance, come back in their 3-year-old year and win these races.
Oscar Performance, the winner in the category of top 3-year-old on the
Horses that showed well as 2-year-olds in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf races. New Money Honey took down the Belmont Oaks earlier on. And here is Oscar Performance, who was the winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf in the final start of his 2-year-old campaign. He goes back-to-back as a 3-year-old. He got the Grade 3 Pennine Ridge at Belmont, and he wins here in the $1.2 million Grade 1 Belmont Derby Invitational. Jose Ortiz in the irons. Boy, 5-1. In retrospect, pretty juicy price for that wire-to-wire score. Here's your $2 pick six. That's a nice score, $166,000 plus. And there were a lot of stakes races on this card at Belmont. Practical Joke looked good from off the pace in the Dwyer. Mind Your Biscuits, powerful, one of the best sprinters in all the land, no doubt. There's New Money Honey. She was good as a 2-year-old. She is good as a 3-year-old.